Coming up, the best before you buy ever. We've got the Amazon Echo, the Yada phone, an electric scooter, a Bluetooth smart blood pressure monitor, and I'm going to review the HP Stream 11. Oh my goodness, it's time to watch before you buy.
Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for Before You Buy is brought to you by Cashfly at CACHEFLY.com. Before You Buy is brought to you by Casper, an online retailer of premium mattresses for a fraction of the price, because everyone deserves a great night's sleep. Get $50 off any mattress purchase by visiting casper.com/beforeyoubuy and entering the promo code BEFOREYOUBUY. And by Blue Apron. Blue Apron will send you all the ingredients to cook fresh, delicious meals with simple step-by-step instructions right to your door. See what's on the menu this week and get your first 2 meals free by going to blueapron.com/twit. That's blueapron.com/twit. Wow, an embarrassment of riches on Before You Buy today. Some really interesting products. I think that happens. You know, there's product release cycles, and there's sometimes of the year where we get all sorts of interesting stuff, and then there's sometimes that are just slow in the doldrums. Mike Elgin is going to be going to the Mobile World Congress in Barcelona in March. We'll see a lot of new smartphones. We'll have a lot of new stuff to review. But one thing you probably won't have is an e-ink-based smartphone. That's what Miriam Jouar is going to review in just a little bit. But let's start with this, which I think got a lot of attention when it first was announced from Amazon. This is the Echo.
The Amazon Echo. This is really 2 products. So there's a Bluetooth speaker with a microphone in it. That's one part of the product.
Okay.
The other part of the product is a Siri or Google Now-like assistant called Alexa. And so they come together. You can't get them separately yet, but I imagine that Alexa will show up on the Amazon TV and so on. But for now, it's just an appliance that goes into your home and lets you talk to it. It talks to you back. You can get information, play music, do all kinds of things, the kinds of things that you would do with Siri, but with some caveats. But it's really an interesting product.
There's not a lot of controls. There's an on-off switch and a mute button.
That's right. The dial on the top is for volume, although you can control the volume with your voice. You can do all kinds of random stuff like, Alexa, tell us a joke. Alexa, tell us a joke.
What is black and white and red all over?
A newspaper.
An educated penguin.
Oh.
Yeah, they're not good jokes, but they are jokes. And so, yeah, there's all kinds of stuff you can do. Now, you know, people are judging this on the quality of the Bluetooth speaker, and on that account, it's okay. It's pretty good for its size and its cost. This is $99 if you're a Prime member and get an invitation. It's $200, $199 if you're not a Prime member.
I would liken it to the Jawbone speaker, which is like almost $200. So if you get it for the Prime price, it's a good deal.
It is.
It's a decent sounding speaker.
The most compelling thing about it, in my opinion, in addition to the fact that the audio is very high quality, you'll notice that her voice sounds perfect, really. Yeah. It's optimized for her voice.
It's actually the best voice synthesis I've ever heard.
It's got some good bass to it. Yeah. It's really high quality voice, and
very natural.
You know, we used it and tested it in our kitchen, which is a kitchen dining room, and you know, from across the kitchen you could ask it questions, you could hear very clearly what the answer was. It's nice and loud, and so that's really nice. But the biggest thing is that this is the future. This is really, all homes are going to have speakers and microphones and personal assistants on the other end of it, where you're going to be able to talk to it. And right now, this is a unique product. There's nothing else like it. And it's exactly the product that's going to exist for the rest of our lives. And it's going to be fantastic.
It does feel that way. You know, I first experienced it in your kitchen, and almost immediately thought, wow, I want this, but not just in the kitchen. I want it everywhere I go.
Yeah.
But I do in a way, don't I? Because I have a phone that I can wake up with, you know, either Siri or Google Now. How is this different from that?
The biggest thing is the fact that it's just such high quality audio, and it's loud, and it's just there. You don't have to pull your phone out. You don't have to think about, is your phone charged? Do you have your phone? Any of that stuff is just pure convenience. You don't even have to care where the device is physically located. Just talk to the room talks back, and that's exactly the kind of use case. You feel it when you use it. Why that's more compelling.
Agree with you.
You know, if this was $500 or $400, then, you know, I would say, you know, don't even think about it. But at this price point, it's really a fantastic thing. Let me give you an example of what a great podcast or netcast appliance this is. Alexa, play This Week in Tech on TuneIn.
Getting the latest episode of This Week in Tech.
So you've tied
Here it
it
is from TuneIn.
to your TuneIn account.
Weekend Tech. Owen J.J. Stone joins Larry
It's not
Magid
required.
and Defender Hardware. We're going to talk about the
Alexa,
latest
stop.
tech news.
It's not required for that functionality, but if you want to have, if you do have an account, which I do, and you tie it to the account, you can say specific things that you wanted to play. If you were subscribing to certain channels.
If you're not a TuneIn,
I mean, right now I'm not. I haven't connected it. This functionality just
knows.
this. Yes,
it does Pandora too, right?
It does.
If you have an account.
That's right. It does. It does Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, and TuneIn, and also there's a news function that will give you news from NPR and BBC. Plus, Alexa herself will read the news to you as well.
Oh, wow. I'm really liking that. Let me hear Alexa read some news.
Okay. Alexa, let me see. What is the command
Here's your
for that?
flash briefing.
Thank you.
That's what he was doing.
In NPR News from TuneIn.
That's what it is, flash briefing.
From NPR News in Washington.
This is NPR News.
How did she know that?
The White House says
Incredible.
President Obama
So,
called Caleb Mueller's
Alexa,
family.
skip.
This is really great. I want this.
Yes.
Because this is the kind of thing you might do in the kitchen.
Continuing with your flash briefing. In BBC News from TuneIn.
BBC News.
So I've set it up with the
President
app
Obama
to
has
first play
confirmed the death
NPR,
of an American
then
Alexa,
BBC.
shut up.
worker held hostage by Islamic State
She
in
doesn't
Syria.
understand that, huh?
He said the U.S.
thought you could
would
swear
bring the
at her.
killers of Caleb Mueller to justice.
Alexa, stop.
Paying tribute.
Just stop, will you? It does. There is
The
a
sound
certain,
is great on voice. That I would listen to in my kitchen without any problem at all.
And since it's in the kitchen, you can do stuff like this. Alexa, how many tablespoons in a cup?
1 cup equals 16 tablespoons.
It'll answer questions like that with you. You got your hands full, you got your hands in the dough, and you can't, push buttons on a smartphone or anything like that.
That does raise one issue. It doesn't know recipes. I wish it did.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
But this is beta. This is an early...
This is the beauty of this device. All of the upgrades that are required for this are in the cloud or in software. All of it will be upgraded as they upgrade it, and we hope they do. They're also going to roll it out to third-party developers, so you don't know what kind of arbitrary capabilities this will gain. Meanwhile, it's a great speaker, great microphone, and you can just buy one. I imagine it'll be great for a decade with upgrades.
I would love to see, for instance, Open Table make an app so I could say, hey, Alexa, I need a reservation for dinner for 2 tonight at Mi Pueblo.
Yeah, exactly. Now, one of the things ways that it differs from Siri or Google now is she's a little dumber than those other, it doesn't have a complete sort of knowledge that sort of Google now does.
Well,
but
Google's been watching me for a long time, which Alexa has not.
Well, but Alexa will give you some Wikipedia results. For example, Alexa, Wikipedia, Leo Laporte.
Leo Gordon Laporte is an American technology broadcaster, author, and entrepreneur.
But see, Google now will do exactly the same thing. In fact, give you the same result.
Yeah, in Google now, you probably don't even have to say Wikipedia. You can just say that.
If
who
you
is
say
this
who is
person?
Leo Laporte, Google now will do that. Siri will do that.
And she won't. You have to specify Wikipedia.
Okay. Yeah. You need Wi-Fi, I presume.
You need Wi-Fi. Without an internet connection, this is useless.
Okay.
It's a paperweight.
You also, do you have to have a smartphone app to go along?
I don't believe you do. Well, I guess you do because you need to do the setup and it will connect via Bluetooth and then you can do all kinds of setup
stuff. So you set it all
stuff.
up through the smartphone.
You set up the Wi-Fi connection, for example, through the smartphone.
So Android and iOS?
Yes, and the Fire OS devices, of course.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, so I set it up with my app. This was one thing people were worried about.
Yeah.
In fact, this was in the parody video, which we all remember.
Right.
Alexa, buy some pens.
Pens added to your shopping list.
Now, that was one concern is that maybe I would get pens 2 days from now because Amazon would just send me some.
But you won't. What it does is it puts it on a shopping list, and notice it's not on your wish list or anything. It doesn't use Amazon language for that. It uses Echo language. So the shopping list exists on your phone app. So now nothing will happen until you go to the phone app and say, here are the pens I want. Here's how many I want. Here's the shipping options that I want to choose. And then it will come to you.
Does it work with Audible?
It doesn't, unfortunately. It does not work with Audible.
Nothing. I'm telling you, Sonos needs to do a deal because Sonos is a speaker system inside every room of my house. If they had the Alexa microphone built in. Now, I want to compare and contrast the two different synthesis because I have to say the voice is so good.
Yes.
So let me ask Siri something.
Yeah.
How old is Michael Jackson?
Michael Jackson died June 25th, 2009 at age 50.
Alexa, how old is Michael Jackson?
Michael Jackson died in Westwood, California on June 25, 2009 from cardiac arrest. He was 50 years, 9 months, and 27 days old when he died.
Despite the over answer, you got to admit, that sounds much more human.
It does, and it's really, it doesn't have that tinny sort of distant quality to it. It just fills the room. Very nice, especially, I mean, this thing gets loud, and you put it in a big room with a kitchen, it's very satisfying to listen to.
I'm telling you, it's HAL 9000. I mean, we're really, it feels like the future.
It is.
And as long as it gets better.
Let's listen to some music now. I'm controlling this from the app. If you have iHeartRadio, it'll do specific songs and specific channels and specific genre through iHeartRadio. TuneIn doesn't do that yet, but you can do TuneIn music through the app. So this is TuneIn Radio. Just
the music quality is actually not bad.
It's not bad.
As I said, it's like a jam box, a Jawbone jam box. It's a little tinnier. You're not going to get a deep bass out of something like
Alexa,
that.
volume 2. You can choose a number.
I like that.
Or you can say louder, quieter, whatever.
Now, it does come with a remote with a magnetic backing, but you don't really need the remote because you can do everything you want.
That's right. But by pressing the button and whispering into the remote, you can avoid yelling across the room.
Oh, that's the point.
Yeah. Somebody sleeping next to you. It'd be great for a bedroom. It's great for a kitchen. You know, personally, you know, at $99, if I could get multiple devices, I would get 3. I'd get one. I'd get one for the bedroom, one for the kitchen, and I'd have one in the office. I've had it in my office all day today. It's been fantastic in the office.
I kind of, yeah.
You know?
And I feel like we're going to get closer and closer to a personal assistant where I could say, Alexa, send a letter to Mike, or send an email to Mike, or something like that.
And it knows you, and so on. And great.
Can't do that yet.
No, nothing like that. But you will get to the. I imagine that you'll do Amazon-y things. Like, for example, you'll say, send so and so a birthday present, and Amazon will know what that other person has on their wish list. For example, you can get it wrapped, shipped, paid for, and all that stuff.
You don't even know what you bought.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
It's just whatever's on the wish list.
Who knows? But that's the kind of thing that I can imagine Amazon doing. They really want to facilitate the purchasing things on Amazon, obviously.
Now, Samsung recently got a lot of heat. In fact, we just talked about it in Security Now because their TVs have a very similar feature to the Fire TV, the Fire Phone, and Alexa. You can talk to the TV and it will do stuff. And Samsung had a rather elaborate disclaimer in which they said things like, stuff you say may be sent to a third party.
Yes.
I presume all of these things work the same way.
Yes, they do. And Amazon is not particularly shy about hanging on to your data, your audio, and all that kind of stuff. And in fact, the app will show you every command you've ever given it.
Oh, so it really does keep track of that.
It really does keep track, and I expect Amazon to use that information to improve the quality of the commands. And also it has to be said that you can train it with your voice to improve recognition. There's a little training app on the app, a little training feature, and you can sort of refine and fine-tune how it understands you.
Now, can I just say something like Alexa, play Uptown Funk? Will it just play a song?
Shuffling music.
Oh, it's shuffling some music.
My guess is it's going to play. Well, I didn't guess that. I did. This is the soundtrack to Tron, for some reason. It's not exactly funk, but you know, close enough.
I think Skynet is here. It knows.
Do you know why it's playing that? Because I own that. I bought that album from Amazon.
Oh, okay.
So and it's probably one of the only.
Now
things
I use Amazon's music service.
Yes.
If you use Amazon Music Service, everything that you have on that will be available, right?
Exactly. And you can do samples and stuff like that. So
Alexa, stop. Alexa, stop.
So it's really it's all this kind of stuff, and of course arbitrary knowledge. Alexa, when is Valentine's Day?
Valentine's Day will be on Saturday, February 14th, 2015.
Yeah. Sending panic.
Actually, this one's good. Alexa, when is Easter?
Easter will be on Sunday, April 5th, 2015.
Sunday? I didn't see that coming.
But what's nice is that's the kind of thing where you're maybe not sure.
Yeah.
I can't probably yet add appointments to my calendar, things like that.
No, you can't.
And I can't make phone calls because it's not a phone.
Exactly. And, you know, it'd be great to be able to do all that stuff. You can imagine all kinds of capabilities, but for now, we can't review it based on what it might have in the future. Right. So right now, it doesn't have those things.
It'd be very easy for Google or Apple to make an external unit that ties to your phone and does all of those things.
It's a little shocking that Google hasn't done this already.
I am surprised.
This is the kind of thing that I would have expected Google to roll out at some Google I/O like 3 years ago or something.
Yeah.
But they haven't.
I got to say, it seems somewhat compelling to me. Let's get the pros and cons.
Yeah, okay. So the pros, generally speaking, are that people, you know, although people complain about the speaker quality, I think the speaker quality is fantastic, especially since it's optimized for the voice. And it's really nice to talk to a personal assistant where it sounds like a human being in the room talking to you. That's, you know, how good the quality is. They are going to be opening it up to third-party developers, and it's uniquely future-proof. We talk about all kinds of products. You know, we talk about smartphones and things like that. Well, next year, the new processors and the new graphics chips and the new screens and all that stuff are going to obsolete everything that we're talking about today. That's not the case with this. This is still going to be great in 5 years, and it'll be 10 times better because they're going to upgrade the cloud services, they're going to upgrade the performance and the apps.
All the work is being done off-site anyway.
Exactly.
You don't need to have a processor or anything.
It's not something you're going to need to replace every 2 years.
Incidentally, one of our chatters, Joe, says he uses this because it's paired to your phone via Bluetooth. It can be used as a Bluetooth headset, so you can make calls in the sense that you've got a microphone, you've got a speaker, and you can place a call. What are the cons on this?
The cons are that it's easily scratchable. Now, this belongs to Anthony Nielsen, and we thank him for sacrificing it for a week. Yes, this is his personal unit. He was really quick to get on the list there, and so this has not been scratched. But I've read a lot of people who said that little nick, a little scratch, and it looks really visible.
Not so fast, wait, man. There's a little scratch right there. I think you, Anthony. We're gonna. By the way, and I wanted to tell Anthony this. Lisa, let's give Anthony a check for his Alexa because. I think that given that he's given it up for a whole week just so you can review it, we won't keep it. We'll give it back to you, Anthony, but we'll also pay for it.
Yep. And okay, so Alexa is not as powerful as Siri as Google now. So in the world of virtual assistants, Alexa is a little bit of a laggard. Yeah. Now she's listening because I mentioned her name. She's not context aware. So if you say, how old is Michael Jackson? And then you follow up with, how tall is he? She has no idea who you're talking about.
Google knows that.
Google does.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It has big gaps in knowledge. So, you know, when she gets it right, it's beautiful. Oftentimes she just kind of goes, I don't know what you're talking about. It's not mobile. There are no batteries. So if it's not plugged in, it's just nothing. It can't do anything. If it's not connected to the internet, it can't do anything. Yeah. And so that's, I guess, a kind of a downside. And so, yeah, those are the pros and cons. It's a fantastically handy thing. It costs $100 or $200, and
it makes more sense if you're a Prime member already than at $100. By the way, you have to get an invitation, so I immediately applied for an invitation.
Yes, you apply for an invitation, and they may or may not give you one. And if you do get on the list, it's going to be a few months before you get it.
Yeah. By then, I bet you Apple and Google will have made something that does exactly this. In fact, I think with Chromecast, you're pretty close to having something like this already.
And there's always going to be an opportunity to sell. For example, Alexa, tell me a story.
You can find a lot of great books on Amazon.com.
Really? Didn't see that coming. So.
Buy, try, don't buy.
Okay, this is an easy one. Alexa, put an Echo on my shopping list.
I've added on Echo to your shopping list.
This is a definite buy. This is a great device. It's a one-of-a-kind device, and I think everybody should get it.
I also feel like we're seeing the future. As you said, we're seeing the future.
Yeah.
You can easily see, it's already kind of fun. You can easily see it becoming something you can't live without.
Absolutely, and I want this in my living room. I want it in the kitchen, in the bathroom, in the bedroom. I want it in the car. I want it in the office.
Right.
I just want to be able to talk no matter where I am and have this kind of information and action and so on to happen every time.
Amazon's first to the party, but I have a feeling you're going to hear from other players pretty quickly.
For sure.
Microsoft, Apple, and Google all have similar technologies with Cortana, Google Now, and Siri, and I can bet you they're already somebody working hard to make something like this.
And as you said, this is a natural fit for Sonos. Either Amazon should buy Sonos, Sonos should build this in, something like that. But.
Yeah. Thank you, Mike Elgin. He is our news director and heads the Tech News Today show each and every Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 1800 UTC, or just Alexa, listen to TNT. Tell your Alexa to tune in.
find songs by TNT in your music library. To hear custom
What do I say, on
stations
TuneIn?
for artists,
so you
add
say,
a free iHeartRadio
Alexa,
account
stop.
using the Echo app.
Alexa, play Tech News Today on TuneIn.
Thank you.
Getting the latest episode of Tech News Today.
That is really great.
Here it is from TuneIn.
Is it today's?
Today's. That's the latest. You can also go,
White House creates a new
Alexa, skip. And it'll go play yesterday's.
Wow.
News today, Samsung's
Goes
TV
backwards.
privacy policy is compared to
That is
Orwell's
so cool.
1985.
Alexa,
I think for podcast listening alone in the
Yes.
kitchen while you're working, while you're cooking,
Congress is
this would
coming
be
after the car
amazing.
industry over
Amazing.
Security and
Alexa, stop.
privacy.
Thank you, Mike. We got lots more to come. This is a jam-packed show, but before we do that, I want to tell you about my mattress. Oh, and it just ain't any old mattress. No, it's a Casper. It's the best mattress you can get at a fraction of the cost of those mattresses in the showrooms. Casper is online. Casper doesn't need a showroom. You go to Casper, CASPER.com/before you buy, and you're taking a look at some amazing mattresses, obsessively engineered mattresses at a fair price. They combine latex with memory foam, so you get a firm mattress, but just the right sink and bounce. Here's my my Casper. We got the Queen. Actually, we put it in the guest room, and it's just fabulous. It comes in a box so small. Somebody was telling me we got a Casper because we couldn't get a king-size bed upstairs into our bedroom. We had to put two twins. The Casper comes in a box so small, it's easy. You just schlep it up the stairs, you open it up, and there's your mattress. Soft, comfortable. You may say, well, wait, Leo, I want to try the mattress before I buy. You can. You get free delivery and painless returns within a 100-day period. So you get 100 days to decide if your Casper's right for you. Statistically, lying on a bed in a showroom is not connected in any way with whether you're going to like that mattress. You've got to sleep on it for a few nights. Casper's mattress is made in the USA. Even Ozzy adores it. In fact, I liked it so much I got one for my son. He's in college, and he just loves it. He just loves it. Casper, CASPER.com/before you buy. Casper mattresses are affordable to begin with. $500 for a twin, $950 for a king size. That's a lot less than that premium mattress at the showroom. But when you use the offer code before you buy at checkout, you're going to save $50 even more. Casper.com/before you buy. Use the offer code before you buy when you check out. I cannot recommend it more highly. We love our Casper mattresses. Now, it's time for another product. And we're going to bring in Miriam Jouar. Miriam is really rapidly becoming our phone expert. She was here last week with a new old BlackBerry Classic. We gave her a really odd assignment on this one. The Yada Phone 2. 2 screens. Let's take a look. Miriam?
Hey there, it's Miriam with Before You Buy. Check it out. I've got the Yada Phone 2 today. This is a dual screen phone. Check it out. E-ink in the back, AMOLED in front. And in terms of spec, it's pretty much a Nexus 5. So let me show you a little bit closer and personal how this phone stacks up. So it's a pretty high-end device. You know, it's pretty competitive today. On top, you have a 1080p 5-inch AMOLED panel. It's a really, really beautiful panel. You'd expect that from AMOLED. You can see the blacks are black, colors pop, but they don't pop overly. So this is a really well-sorted 5-inch AMOLED panel. You've got the usual speaker up here, a 2-megapixel front-facing camera, a bunch of sensors to detect, you know, your face and light, etc. No buttons, obviously. These are all on screen, like more and more phones are doing. And then if you flip it over, obviously you have this e-ink display. And the e-ink is really interesting because it consumes no power when it's just static, only when the display gets refreshed, which is really interesting because it means this phone can go on the back display for several days in a row. Also, you can choose. You can say, I want to maybe read a book in sunlight, where this display is going to be a lot more usable, or you can choose to save power when you decide to. So that's kind of the shtick here. But it'll show you, for example, one of the cool things. If I start the camera in the front, the back changes to you know, this graphic. Sometimes it says smile, sometimes it shows a camera. So you know, that way you're kind of aware. The people who you're taking a picture of are aware you're taking a shot of them. It's kind of a cool little interaction. And obviously, the camera app was reworked to use the back display to do that. There's a bunch of other configuration apps. You can throw an RSS feed. You can throw your notifications to the back of the phone. Right now I've got the time, the weather, quick shortcuts for phone calls, messages, etc., etc. So I don't have to always unlock my phone. I can just use the back display. As you can see, it's a 4.7 inch. It's a little smaller than the front display, and it's a QHD resolution. That's 960 by 540 pixels. You have an 8 megapixel camera at the top here with an LED flash. It's a bit of a downgrade from the first generation device, which actually had a 13 megapixel camera. But one of the big differences compared to the Yotaphone one is that the entire touch panel is touch sensitive rather than just the bottom strip like the original was. That means that this phone can do something that the old one couldn't, and this is mirror the entire Android experience right in the back. So you can decide to have these widgets appear while you use the front screen. Basically, it's a completely seamless Android experience on an e-ink display. And again, you're drawing so little power. If you look at the battery consumption on your Android phones, typically the display, it's labeled as screen in your battery stats, is the killer, right? It's what draws most of the power. So this device can save you quite a bit of battery that way. Now, continuing around in terms of specs, there is usual assortment of buttons. Let me walk you through real quick. There's a headphone jack on the top here, pretty standard fare stuff. Nothing at all on, let me think, this is the left side if you're holding it from the front display, right side if you're holding it from the back display. And then you have a power lock key and a volume rocker on the right-hand side or the left-hand side, depending on how you hold the phone again. What's unique about the volume rocker, last year's Yotaphone, or I should say 2 years ago's Yotaphone, had the SIM tray incorporated in the power lock key. And this year they've got it in the volume rocker. So you can put a little pin in the volume rocker, pull out the SIM. It's a nano SIM this time. Previously it was a micro SIM. Still no micro SD storage on this device. At the bottom here, you have a micro USB charge and data port with a set of speakers. Obviously, microphones are in there too for when you want to make phone calls. What's inside? Snapdragon 801, 2 gigs of RAM, 32 gigs of built-in storage. So no micro SD, but it's a pretty reasonable amount of storage. I'm not quite sure what we're going to get when we get this phone in the US, if we get this phone in the US. There's been rumors that this phone is coming to the US. And this model is a European model. I've got an AT&T SIM in here right now. As you can see, it's HSPA+. There's LTE bands on this device, but they're not compatible with the US. Obviously, if it comes to the US, it will have LTE capability. And so if it does have LTE, I expect that it'll be compatible with AT&T and T-Mobile, etc. Or maybe they'll work out a carrier deal. The one thing you should keep in mind, sure, you're looking at a flagship. Pretty much, last year's kind of spec in terms of flagship. So you're looking at essentially what an Nexus 5 would be like. But what you're getting is this extra display, but that costs you money. And the prices right now are really hard to tell because the Russian, it's a Russian company, Yotaphone. The ruble is varying a lot in price. So it's $600 to $700 best case scenario right now to import this phone, and you still won't get LTE. So keep that in mind if you're interested in getting this. Perhaps waiting for the carrier version in the US might be a better way to go. So in terms of pros, I think the killer app of this phone is the back display, this e-ink panel. It really seems gimmicky, but once you start using it, especially with a full touch layer like this, it becomes really useful. The mirroring option, bright sunlight is beautiful. You save a lot of energy. You can have your favorite books ready to read in the back here as PDFs or as ebooks. And of course, Yotaphone has an API that lets developers take advantage of this back display while the front display is in use. So, there's a lot of potential here in the future. And to me, that's the biggest pro. The other pro is it is a pretty full-featured phone. You can't go wrong. Plain Android, all the specs you'd expect. It's kind of last year's spec, but it's still very respectable today and this year. Cons, the camera. The main camera is 8 megapixels. Was 13 last year. It's not about megapixels, but ultimately I find this camera a little disappointing. Last year's Yotaphone, last generation, was passable for 13, but this seems to be a little bit worse. But it's serviceable. But We get so spoiled with cameras today that I would say if you're into photography, this is something you should be aware of. The other con is the price. Right now it's $600 to $700 at least, best case, unlocked, imported, without LTE support for the US. So until we actually have some pricing and announcement on a US carrier like it's been rumored, it's really hard to tell. So in a nutshell, this is a pretty state-of-the-art phone. It's a little pricey. Should you buy it? Yes, perhaps. I would say a try is the best until we get this in the US on a carrier and we have proper LTE band support. But compared to its original Yotaphone 1, this is a thoroughly better phone, a much better experience. And yeah, as such, I recommend it as a try.
So as Miriam pointed out, not sure whether it'll have full LTE support in the United States. It is expensive. On the other hand, she really liked that e-ink screen. So a try. Thank you, Miriam. Miriam Jouar, who is now a regular, not only on this show, but on All About Android. And we're really glad to have her on our team. You ready to scoot? All right. Brian Burnett, who's is he still our technical director?
This is a mobile device. Right?
This is a mobile device. We give Brian all the things that are dangerous because he's like a motorcycle guy. We thought we would give him an electric scooter. This is the Eco Rico M3 scooter. Here he comes. Here comes Brian Burnett on the Eco Rico. Watch out. No. Take a look.
This is Brian Burnett for Before You Buy, and today I'm taking a look at the Eco Rico M3. No, not the M3 like the car, but this little speedy scooter is plenty fast. The Eco Rico M3 is a scooter meant for helping those who have that last mile to get to from commuting on the train or just getting across town and don't necessarily want to take a bike or walk there. The underlying design of the Eco Rico is that it has a very sturdy aluminum frame, but it's pretty much, if you've ever ridden one of those Razor scooters around town, it's like that with an electric motor strapped to it. It has a 250-watt hub motor, which means it's fairly easy to pull wheelies when you're not even trying. And the top speed has been rated at 20 miles per hour. The top speed for me was about 15, which was scary enough, but I'm sure with a little bit of a downward slant and wind behind you, you'd easily be able to hit 20 miles per hour. The estimated distance for the battery is about 20 miles, and it takes 2.5 hours to charge up to 85%, or 4.5 hours to charge to full, which was plenty for my testing needs. So with its sturdy aluminum frame, with the battery enclosed in the base of the Eco Rico, it has a very low center of gravity, meaning it was handled relatively well, but still was a little scary going over some bumps and things like that, and it took a little practice to get not twitchy steering at it. The front of the Eco Rico has these little spring suspension set up here on the front, and it helped a little bit with some of the bumps, but really wasn't going to soak up very much, and the rear doesn't have any suspension at all. But for getting around town and going over little cracks in the pavement, it was fine. And you could even hop curbs if you had enough momentum going along. But deeper potholes and things like that definitely upset the rideability. Plugging in the Eco Rico is pretty simple. You've got a 3-prong input here, and like I said, it doesn't take too long to charge up to full. Also, the Eco Rico is designed to be fairly portable, where you can take down the top of the stock to the base of the scooter, and then you can also fold down the handles if need be. So if you have to get on a train or on a bus or something like that, you can fold it up. It does come in at a weight of 35 pounds, which doesn't sound too heavy, but when you're lugging around for a little while, it does start to wear on you. So I wouldn't recommend getting this if you had to carry it for a long period of time. As for controls, it has a finger throttle on the right with a display showing your speed and your trip. Also has a handy little icon for how much battery life you have. And on the left is the brakes, which control the rear wheel. Fortunately, not the front, because you'd probably be doing a couple of stoppies otherwise. Altogether, the Eco Rico feels really well made and put together. It's been through its fair share of crashes and bumps and bruises being tested here at TWiT, and it handled it with aplomb. To really test it, me and Padre took it out to a off-road section and had a little bit of fun, and I even raced a bicycle with a gas motor attached to it, which he won, but it was close. Also, I wouldn't be doing our loyal followers any justice if I didn't test the Rico to its limit, or my own. And while trying to do a wheelie, I definitely took a little spill. But it was okay. No damage done. As far as hill climbing, it did struggle a little bit, but as long as I pedaled a little bit with my foot while going uphill, it wasn't too bad at all. As for pros and cons, the number one pro I can think of is quality. It feels very sturdily built and definitely handled all the difficult things that we put through it. And the next pro would be it's just fun. It's everyone who hopped on it around the studios really enjoyed it, and it was great for getting around town quickly, if not, looking a little goofy. As for cons, it was a little scary with the steering, because if you can imagine a Razor scooter with a motor strap to it, those already are a little twitchy, whereas this is the same kind of thing. But once you get the hang of it, it's a lot of fun. And the second con would be it is heavy when you're trying to carry it around for a prolonged amount of time. If you're just folding it up, putting it on a train or a bus, and then unfolding it, it's not a big deal. But if you had to carry this over a long distance, it would definitely wear on you. And finally, the price. The price would be the last con, as the scooter does come in at $1,000, but you don't feel like they cheaped out on any part of it at that price. And compared to other e-commuting devices like electric bikes and things like that, it's $1,000 really isn't too bad of a price. So would I give it a buy, try, or don't buy? After all the fun that we've had with this little scooter, I would definitely give it a buy. And if you're in the market for a scooter to get you around where you don't have to worry about a lot of maintenance or a flat tire or something like that, this could be the perfect last mile commuting device for you. And thanks to Burke for trying to kill me by making a ramp in the basement, which we totally had to jump. This has been Brian Burnett from Before You Buy. Thanks for watching.
Well, a definite yow for the Eco Rico M3 scooter. Brian says you can't send it back. It's $1,000. I think you could hurt yourself. Oh, but he didn't. So that's why next week Brian Burnett will be reviewing powered roller skates. Are we just gonna keep throwing stuff at him till he actually?
Yeah, the week after he's testing out
a giant life-size hamster wheel.
Right,
it's gonna be amazing, rolling down the streets of Petaluma. I can't wait.
And then firework-proof gloves after that.
Fantastic,
it's fun.
Fantastic.
Brian in the future.
Hey, look at the old redhead. Chad Johnson is here. He's the host of OMG Craft. You can find him on YouTube, youtube.com/OMGcraft, and also on patreon.com/OMGChad.
Correct.
Where he raises money for his efforts to help school children all over the world get better at Minecraft.
School children watch me on Minecraft.
Play Minecraft.
Right.
Do you love the HoloLens? Do you want to wear the Microsoft HoloLens and do Minecraft?
That would be insane.
Insane. It makes me want to do Minecraft.
Yeah.
I just think it looks so cool, and you can look like they showed. You saw the demo. They look through the windows of the Minecraft castle, and you can see inside. Or they scrape away the wall, and I mean, it's incredible.
Right. Part of me wants Minecraft 2.0.
Right.
Like they come out with Minecraft 2, because I'm sure that if they used a different engine other than Java, they could really optimize some cool effects.
It's Microsoft, they have some programmers over there.
They have a few.
Just one or two.
I hear.
How's your blood pressure?
Not so good, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I have high blood pressure.
What?
I've always had high blood pressure.
You're 12 years old. How could you have high blood pressure?
It's family. It runs in the family.
Pork rinds.
Those pork rinds are also.
You come from Austin.
Right. And the diet sodas, I'm sure, are high blood pressure.
Anybody, and I have high blood pressure too, anybody who has high blood pressure knows when you go to the doctor's office, that's the worst time to measure it. You're nervous, you're scared, you don't, and they call it white coat hypertension. And so my doctor has said to me many times, look, please get a blood pressure monitor and a sphygmomanometer. Take it home.
Defibrillator?
It's called a sphygmomanometer. You take it out. You can get it at the drugstore for $60. Take it home and take blood pressure readings. Then mail them to me because that will be more accurate.
Right. So this is basically an updated version of that.
This is that, but it's smart.
Right. This is the Pile Health blood pressure monitor.
In fact, Pile's been around for a long time making these.
Yes, brand name. company. This is the PHBPB20, if you want to be able to find it. It has no other name other than that. So that's how you find it, and it's inexpensive. This comes in at online around $70, $69.90.
So that's about what you would pay for a
comparable,
decent, Omron or some other blood pressure monitor that it doesn't have the Bluetooth feature.
Right. So the cool feature about this is that it connects via an app. So you have a Pile Health app that you open, iOS and Android. And when you're logged in, one of the cool things is you can have multiple user accounts. So let's say you have multiple people in the family that want to be using this. They can have either multiple accounts. You enter into your account, and then it puts you. It's actually a really nice app. Puts you onto the measure page, and so I'd hit blood pressure. Now we're gonna set this off to the side. Then you just take your blood pressure like you normally would.
So it has a cuff.
Has a cuff.
Which is the way to do it. In fact, this is just like the other store-bought.
Right.
Guys, take your sleeve up, not down.
Well, so the sleeve is, either I could take off the shirt. I tested it before, and it can read my...
okay. The kids at home are saying, take off the shirt,
They're like, what are you doing? Yeah, I'm sure.
All the ladies.
Come
on, Chad.
It's very simple. It's actually, I haven't touched it in a while, so it's going to power save mode. It does this where it looks like it's taking a reading, but it doesn't. Anyway, you hit the power button.
Okay.
You can notice I'm in this page 1. You can have 4 different users on the device.
Oh, that's nice. The whole family can do this.
Right. So you can see that it's connected via Bluetooth. It gives me a little animation of what it's doing.
And now it's filling the cuff, right?
Absolutely. So this cuff is filled with air. It's doing its job. It's actually filling more with air.
It really hurts.
You're not supposed to talk when you're doing this, so I make it a very weird reading.
That's okay.
And then they also suggest that you keep both feet on the floor, keep your arm.
Here's my systolic. And then they're going to do the diastolic, and you're going to get your reading.
Right.
And the nice thing about these, because it goes to the phone, it's much easier to tell your doctor to say, here's my log.
Right. So I have very high blood pressure right now. So
quick, doctor. That's not your blood pressure, is it?
Yeah.
So 197 over 116, and your pulse rate's 99.
99. Now that's the highest I've ever gotten. And that's most likely because I'm nervous and I'm on a show. You can see it gives you a history.
I think if this were not television, we'd probably send you to the hospital right now.
Probably say, what are you doing?
But because it's television, you have a license to die.
It's a little bit, that would be interesting television, wouldn't it? So it gives you a history. So normally my blood pressure, the highest before this had been 170 over 86.
Oh, that's not bad.
That's not too bad.
Oh, okay. This is because you're in a pressure. That's
absolutely.
And this is one of the reasons you want to measure your blood pressure a lot. It's different times a day, different blood pressure, different stressful conditions.
You can get a chart of
generally
your blood
speaking, measure your blood pressure on television is not recommended.
You can see how the graph goes up a bit.
Yeah.
That's
not your normal BP.
With that measurement.
Yeah.
So here's a graph of everything. You can also what's nice is that they pair very well, and this will actually work completely on its own, and so I can switch between.
Oh, that's interesting. So you don't have to use the phone.
You don't have to
because you've got a readout.
You don't have to. So I
have a Y things that does this, but it has no display.
Right.
And as a result, you have to be tied to a device to do it.
Right. So this will capture
That's nice.
it. Now the one issue that I've had is that it's hard if I take a measurement and I don't have the phone over here unlocked with the app ready. It will not sync the data over, and that's been my issue. Is that once I take a measurement and it didn't sync over, it's basically
it has
locked.
No storage.
I have no way to. Now it does have storage, but there's no way to really send it back over to say send this to the phone so that it can have that.
Oh, it did have because it has a log on the
device. It has a log. So here you can choose between the different people over here. So I'm number 1.
Okay.
You can also choose between averages. So if I want to see my hour average, my day average, my 7-day average, so you can see this is a little bit better than what I just took.
I have some lisinopril in the other room. Let me quickly
get it.
Or maybe some nitroglycerin at this point would be.
Yeah. So, and then it does all as well. So this is my average forever. This is nice that it does it all just on the device. You can also, if you want to, go back between the specific readings each time if you want to.
Yeah.
So back on the app though, you can do a few things, like you can email this to someone. So I started, where are we? May something. I forget when my it started. Where did I start my measurements? Where are we? I started, oh, June 31st. Okay. So if I go back to charts, I can email this. I can choose.
So that's nice.
January.
And again, the doctor really loves to see this because your blood pressure's higher when you wake up. You know, it's higher after you have a cup of coffee. You want to see it over the day and over a few days and weeks so you get a sense of how soon Chad's going to have a heart attack.
Right,
or a stroke.
exactly.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things that I don't like is it's sometimes very difficult to determine which thing is selected, which one isn't. So there you go. This is the graph that I could give to my doctor.
That's
which
excellent.
is really nice.
Yeah.
Oops.
Just tell him that was the TV appearance.
Right.
He'll
that was
understand.
when I was on air.
That's what it was. A really cute nurse measuring it.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's basically what it does. Inside of the app, they also offer other things like a scale. They
have other devices.
They have other devices, glucose and cholesterol, and also a thermometer.
Does this tie to HealthBook?
It does not. That's a con. Is that this will not? And HealthBook has an area for blood pressure, but it does not tie into HealthBook.
Yeah. Pros and cons.
So the pros are that this device will work all on its own if you want. Battery life is really, really long. It takes 4 AA batteries, and I used it for way over a week, and it never needed replacements. And that it connects to your phone with Bluetooth. On the con side, if you take a measurement and your phone isn't ready, there's no way to transfer the data back over, and it does not sync in with HealthBook. The price is around $70.
Good price?
Huh? Yeah, I think that's a great price. Buy, try, don't buy for the Pile Health blood pressure monitor. I'm going to say buy.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like
Very nice. Now, would you please go to the hospital?
Yeah, I need to go and call an ambulance, right?
No, it just shows you, though, that that's the whole thing about blood pressure. It goes
They're
up.
here.
It goes up. Oh, thank God, they're coming.
Right.
They're on their way. Dr. Mom called them. No, this is serious stuff. You want to take it seriously, and it's great to have that, and it ties in nicely. I think that's good.
Thank you.
The Pile.
Yeah, the Pile, we'll say it
PHB PB20.
Yes. Start automatic wireless Bluetooth blood pressure monitor with inflatable arm cuff.
Thank you. Thank you, Chad. OMG Chad. You can find OMG Craft on YouTube, youtube.com/OMG Craft. And his Patreon is OMG Chad. That's his name, Chad Johnson. That was your off-the-cuff review. Or was it on the cuff?
I guess, yeah, the cuff was on
review
the review.
of the Pile blood pressure monitor. We're going to review this HP Stream 13 in just a second. Kind of pretty blue, huh? That's nice. But first, a word from Blue Apron. Ladies and gentlemen, Blue Apron. I love Blue Apron because I like to cook, but I don't like to shop. And I actually, even when I like to shop, I don't always have the time to shop because, you know, we work late. You get home, you're tired, it's 5:30, you want dinner, and then you have to go shop. Blue Apron solves that by sending the ingredients for a delicious meal to your home. For less than $10 a meal, Blue Apron sends you the freshest ingredients, perfectly proportioned. By the way, even the meats, the fish, they're not frozen. They come in a refrigerated box, so it's really fresh. If you're not going to be there that week or that day, don't worry. They work around your schedule. With the ingredients, you'll get step-by-step recipe instructions. They're beautiful laminated cards suitable for collection, so you can actually put together a Blue Apron cookbook. It is great, and there's no waste from unused ingredients, and they are delicious. In fact, they're super elegant meals. If you go to blueapron.com/twit, you can take a look at some of the meals they're offering this week. You'll never get the same meal twice, by the way. The shipping is free. The menus are always updated regularly. Cooking on almost everything is about half an hour. Look at that. Chicken and sage biscuit pot pie. Shrimp po' boy sandwiches. How about roast chicken supreme with mashed rutabaga gravy and maple glazed carrots? This is stuff that you probably wouldn't attempt. But trust me, it's easy because you've got the pictures, the step-by-step instructions. You've got even the salt and pepper. Everything you need to make it is there. You could start in an empty kitchen and make a delicious meal in half an hour. blueapron.com/twit. It's great for date night. It's great if you want to show off, impress somebody. I feel like they're teaching people to cook one menu item, one meal at a time. I really love it. blueapron.com/twit. And we thank them so much for their support of Before You Buy. My mouth is watering. I'm thinking about that chicken biscuit. That looked good.
It's a perfect thing because the thing that I hate the most is getting back from the grocery store and going, I forgot that one. I forgot that thing that I needed. Oh,
or like on Sunday, I always say Sunday, I'm going to meal plan. I'm going to figure out everything I'm going to make. I'm going to go to the grocery store, and I never do it.
Yep.
I never do it. So, folks, here it is. This is something we've been thinking about, talking about probably since CES, the new HP Streamline. HP is basically making, I think the best way to understand this is it's a Chromebook level computer, a Celeron processor, 1080 screen, no touch. It's a Chromebook class computer, around $200, but instead of running Chrome OS, it's running a full version of Windows 8. See, with Windows 8, I always want to touch something, so I have to get out of that habit. These HP Streams are great for a student because they're colorful. Kids like that. Now you see on this, if you're watching the video, you'll see some blinking on the screen. That is, in fact, not a problem with the computer. It's the way our cameras are interacting with it. The screen is rock solid. It isn't a bad screen. It's LED backlit. It's not a great screen either. But again, 200 and up. This is about $229 is the one we're looking at right now. Battery life, they're claiming 7 hours, 45 minutes. You know, it's 5 or 6. But that's pretty good. Very lightweight. Has SD card reader. The traditional HP proprietary power plug, unfortunately. You can't go out and get standardized on those. Look at this, though. HDMI out and 2 USB 3 ports. That's pretty sweet. Plus, of course, a microphone, headphone jack, dual headphone jack. Speakers are somewhere, here they are, somewhere hidden inside here. They're not, it's not, they say DTS studio sound. Not my studio, but again, what would you expect? And also, because this is an HP, you're going to get, and it's so inexpensive, you're going to get trialware, they call it. So HP's Connected Drive, Connected Music, Connected Photo, Get Dropbox offer, HP Office Jet Pro 8630 offer, HP Smart Friend, McAfee, you got Shop for Supplies, Snapfish, TripAdvisor, Amazon is on here. So here's the HP stuff that you can see. There's games and other things on here. The trackpad works pretty well. Instead of, in lieu of touch, you swipe in from the right to get the charms bar. You can swipe in from the left to get to do the task switching. It's very much like what you'd expect. In fact, I think it's more than you would expect, considering it's $229. Part of this is really due to Microsoft. Microsoft now offers OEMs a very low-cost version. Sometimes it's a $0, in fact, called Windows 8.1 with Bing. That's the version you're getting here. They also subsidize it with the trialware. They're using Intel Celeron processors. There's only 2 gigs of RAM. It's a student class laptop. I think on the pro side, the beautiful design, lightweight. The keyboard actually is pretty good. Not backlit, but it's pretty good. It's got a very usable trackpad. The screen is, not touch, but it's good enough for what it is. It's kind of like a low-cost student computer. On the cons, the sound's a little tinny. The screen isn't a touch screen, and it doesn't have a great angle of viewing. It's an inexpensive computer. Battery life is decent, not great. And the storage is minimal. So 2 gigs of RAM is terrible, but it's only got 32 gigs of storage for $229. And that's not great either. This is really a cloud system. It does come, and thank you again, Microsoft, with Office 365. So you do get a full version of Microsoft Office on here. That's pretty cool. Let's launch Office. You'll see how long it takes. Not too bad. Oh, I didn't activate it yet, but we can try it. With Office 365 comes a terabyte of OneDrive storage, very much like the offer that Google makes for its Chromebooks. If your student, and I got to say it's for a student, it's not for an adult, but if your student wants Windows, doesn't want Chrome OS, wants perhaps to play Minecraft, which you can't play on Chrome OS, I think this is a very competitive offer. It comes with different colors. It's light, it's portable. I don't think anybody would be embarrassed to have this under their arm. And I think it's totally usable.
Unless it was the purple color. Then
the magenta, maybe you shouldn't, not even. There you go. It's kind of a pinkish,
maybe you'd be embarrassed, possibly.
Pinkish magenta. I don't know. It just depends on the person, I guess. So it's a little underpowered. But I have to say, I would say it's a try. I don't think, I have to caution people because I think a lot of people see, $200 and I can get a Windows laptop and say, that's it. That's all I'm willing to spend on a computer. And I think for a lot of people, that's just a big mistake.
Right.
$200 that you never use is worse than $1,200 for something you use all the time. Do you know what I mean? That extra $1,000. I know money's tight, but if you don't use this, that's $200 thrown away. And I think that sometimes happens with these less expensive computers. But on the other hand, if it's a second or third computer in the house, it's for a student, you're concerned about it getting lost or stolen, it's a little bit of a breath of fresh air to say, well, it was only $229, and they'll probably get a full year out of it. So I would say this is in its niche a definite buy. There aren't many choices at that price range like this. But I think you should try it if you're considering it for yourself as an adult, and maybe spend a little bit more money to get a nicer system. That Dell XPS 13 that I reviewed last week starts at $799 and is a much better computer in every respect. You're going to like it a lot better. But kudos to HP and to Microsoft for creating a product that is useful at that very, very low price point. A definite try for the HP Stream 13. And that concludes this edition of Before You Buy. We had a lot of great stuff. Thank you, Chad, Brian Burnett, Mike Elgin, Miriam Jouar. Great to have you here, too. We do this show Tuesdays, so you can subscribe and get it every Tuesday evening after we produce it. By the way, we edit it up, too, so you can get it on youtube.com/beforeyoubuy. Not only the full half-hour to hour-long show, but also each individual product review, so it's suitable for sharing. We also offer you subscriptions, as always, of all of our shows and on-demand versions, too. Go to twit.tv/BYB to find out more. If there's a product you'd like to see us review, Miriam's going to be doing a lot more phone stuff. If you want to see her do something mobile, for instance, email byb@twit.tv and let us know. We'll get that product and get it out to one of our crack reviewers. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you next time. Remember, you got to watch before you buy. I'm Leo Laporte. Take care.